0.5 multiplier for first place, so on and so on. But this is the interesting thing, right? Like, it comes down to this. We waited to see how these teams would weed through the waters to get themselves viable for a top 4 finish, and now it comes down to one final game. Team Lula, who started off so strong, first place 2 games in a row, have dropped massively, but everybody else has picked it up.
That's right. Dropped a lot, right? From first place down to second, down to 4th, now down to 8th. Will they finish in top 10? Hisoka, though, that is the biggest story. Going from second to second, but at least being within striking distance of taking out Biffle. It was a 30-point game from them. Meanwhile, Biffle and his crew was only able to get 14. So a bit of a difference maker. And we really do got to start off with Aydan and them, because this is their game. Do they take first? Because they moved up themselves as well. I mean, they moved up quite a bit. I want to say they went all the way up to 5th place. Outside of top 10 to 5th place. This is doable.
A huge bounce back for this trio, and at the most opportune time. But if you're also wondering, all right, well, what's the stakes look like? What's the money on the table? $20,000 per show. Today, same situation. $10,000 for first place, $5,000 for second, $2,500, $1,000, and we pay out 1 through 5. So $500 for 5th place. So you're vying for top 5. If you're within that range right now, you're securing your spot to end today. If you're not, you are trying to play aggressive. Everything goes, nothing held back. If you're Biffle and Aydan rated company, all those trios kind of within top 4, this is the biggest match of the day. And of course, it came down to our final one.
Sounded a final game. Wouldn't want it any other way for our Vondel battles for week number 1 of Lions versus Drakes, right? That's not what you want to see, though. Player down, and a Simtex, once again, being the finishing move. We've seen that a little bit earlier. Now, of course, watch on to another team, Juki's Vision in them. This is a roster that I've been kind of keeping up to date with. I've been highlighting Juki's. Lennon, though, is just as talented in his own right, and he's been the hero multiple times to kind of save the lives of Juki's and his teammate, Juki's Vision to be specific. They need a strong game if they want to finish up in the top 10.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, we've had a lot of surprises, but Juki's team, you know, finishing as low as they have has kind of been one of the bigger ones to me.
Sure, and look, you know, you can always chalk it up to it's week 1 of this kind of tournament. There's still going to be more opportunities, of course. It's a different version of Warzone than what these players have been practicing and scrimming for the past couple of weeks, what they've just gone through with the qualifiers for World Series of Warzone. But regardless, we are looking for the tendencies to continue, and when the tendencies don't show up, then it is a bit of a factor we hit on. So for Juki's and company, yes, a bit of a slow series today, and very interesting one for sure. But for others, kind of business as usual in the office, but been really surprised with the consistency from Biffle and company. Aydan rated a late game push. They're looking successful. And now over to Sanjay, one of the highlights of the captains of the entire series, the event so far. Haven't seen a lot of her today. Saw that she was in a bounty, but finally on our screens, we'll see what she can rock with.
Dude, Sanjay's great. Love watching her compete. Love watching her play. She's always playing COD, it seems, you know, whether it be multiplayer or playing Warzone. Now, being in the Vondel battles, she's kind of a staple, I think, for any of our influencer or competitive events. And like you said, always bringing the vibes, man. But you're right, we haven't seen too much of her, but now we get a chance to really see what they're about. We did see Soundy. Soundy, who is on her team, was definitely featured a little bit early. Look at the moves, right? Got the little bit of a mount going on, got the lean going in, follows it up with the second, almost anyways, down. And now we'll hop on board with Soundy, see what he's going to be up to. Goes back for the reach out, doesn't get it. And Roy now, the last one up to try and carry the torch.
Now, they will take down Clutch Bell because it's a big pickup, but you are hoping, again, just to play your life. We've said that a couple of times for a couple of our individuals here today, right? When numbers quickly fall, how quickly can you get out of dodge? Play your life, buy time for the rebound, and off that, the respawn should be good. So we slow things down yet again. Our Game 1 winners over here in Lula, Vortex, and Blade, of course, held on to that number 1 spot back-to-back games to start proceedings today, but have since fallen out of favor. Now sitting around, I believe, 7th or 8th in the standings. So certainly a big game for them, trying to get back into the money, sure, but also kind of prove that those first couple of games weren't just by the wayside, that it really was just consistent effort, as we know it to be. But we'll switch back over to Smixy, as she's felt like out of position a couple of times, but she's done so much with so little in so many of these gunfights.
So she's going to send a PA onto the top of the building, maybe a little bit of time to get a track back into the fight. You want your trio to be healthy as possible. We on board with DJ Moss to fill in for today, and he was filling in for Swagg, who is the normal trio for this roster with Z-Color and Super Evan. That trio, like I said before, qualified for World Series of Warzone Global Finals, which will be in London in September. So DJ Moss taking over the rooftop. They love to hold that high ground as long as they possibly can, especially Super Evan. We've seen him up there with the signal from time to time. Smixy is convinced someone is below, and we've seen this kind of take place, you know, when Smixy's on screen is like, where is the team at? And it seems like they always struggle to find them because I don't know who they continually go against, but they're elusive.
Yeah, they've always kind of found themselves on the outskirts of where the action might be, but unfortunately Flanked will be just there, waiting and ready for Smixy to run into his jaws. But one of the nice things about a lot of these tournaments is, one, you just see kind of the diversity of game styles, or gameplays, I should say, from different POVs, but also something just off topic. Nice little view into the backgrounds of a lot of these streamers. You never quite are sure what you're going to get, so it's nice to see the backdrops have evolved from the early days of streaming, and now we got, like, you know, nice aesthetic backgrounds, great lighting. I'm just a fan of the personalities that shine through in the face cams. It's nice to see.
I used to literally have like a bunk bed like 10 years ago back in the day. Well, not a bunk bed per se, but like a little, I don't know, loft bed. And I used to hang a black felt blanket behind me, so it looked just black behind me. It almost looked like I had a green screen and just turned it on, but it wasn't. You know, we progressed a lot since then in space.
I had a dresser and a big mirror, and it's like, all right, we've moved on since that, man.
That's it, dude. And dresser's halfway open with socks hanging out. I know,
That's
man.
Right.
Like, I've been there.
That's where the early days were, but the early drops for a lot of these players have been very contested, as we saw the rooftop, the point of interest to start today, and so far it has continued, but more so as the game has progressed. This Sage will pick up one, probably two. I believe that's 4 to his name. It's actually currently, for the moment, it is Biffle on your screen. Ooh, with 40 lambs trying to make the 5th. Great movement from Biffle. Absolutely dipping and diving out of the stairs to pick up that last kill on Huskerrs.
Good on Biffle, man. Huskerrs is not an easy guy to take up close, and Biffle doesn't make it look easy per se. He took quite a bit of damage to be expected going against Huskerrs, but he gets the job done. Immediately focuses on the roof. Simtex out. This could be Dire Straits. Gets the knock. The Simtex doesn't get the finish, but they smell blood, and they're going for it.
And they're trying to confirm first place. This is not just about the eliminations. It's also about securing their spot. So they understand every single gunfight matters. Every trio they run into could be someone right on their heels. And great shots from Biffle, just trying to clean up the final kill. He's going to give the call to his teammate, and Shifty's going to make the move.
Make the move, like you said, Shifty being a tip of the spear. Sage can also dive in from the high ground if he so decides. Biffle still laying down the cover fire. Down we go. And Biffle's going to try and take a bit of a different angle if he can. Maybe get on the flank. No, he's going to take over the rooftop. So clearly seeing some roles within this team. Sage, Shifty, they're going to be the tip of the spears pushing forward. Meanwhile, Biffle, he can be that guy, but at least in this moment, he's been the one kind of hanging back, being that the guy with the call-outs, beaming the players from the rooftop. So we're seeing, and these boys are moving. I can see why they're in first.
And watching Biffle stream last night, that's how he was playing, even with just different players on his squad, just waiting for an opportunity to post up with the AR, let his teammates do the dirty work as the tip of the spear forward, then he would help clean up the rest of the kills. One of the best shots in the world you're going to find, and does so similarly here. We jumped over to FIFA Kills POV as they were trying to dip out of dodge, but as numbers continue to ping out and your minimap is lit up, you know that numbers are around, but how long will you, until you make your move? It starts now. Shot in the back, but it's a pinch from the opposite side.
In the window.
I believe Sage is going to be the hero. Self-revive, doesn't get off in time. Biffle's finished off. Now it's up to Sage, who's on the same roof as the player that just finished off Biffle, to try and hold it on. But enough kills will limit, or at least eliminate, that time for the respawn timer. He's already back into the fight. Now, pulling Smixy from game number 2. He's going to be that portable UAV, constantly pinging and marking where the opponents are at. Now he sees an opening. He's going down to join that of Sage. Players down, finishes in, money's gathered. Well done.
Yeah, and those eliminations just help. All you need is 1 or 2. Just keep putting points on the board. Even if it's just cleaning up the prior engagement, taking out teams so they can't get back in the fight quickly is the name of the game. And down through the building we go. The pacing kicked up to a different gear for the moment as Biffle and company will try to make their move. King AJ getting hunted. You can hear the comms ringing out. They know the chows are coming.
It's amazing space. We've seen so many engagements, so many fights, so many downs and players' lives lost. Yet we still have 18 trios remaining. You would assume, after watching the gameplay on screen, that we would have been nearing the end of this game, but no, there's still much more action to come. Game 6 is hot and ready, and I tell you what, these teams understand what's at stake here, especially Biffle's team. They've been tearing it up. Louis CM, Zyro, a guy that I highlighted for picking up 60 eliminations on this very map, this very game mode, just a couple of weeks back, is looking to tear it up, but he's going to drop. These guys are taking a lot of damage, and they've got to try and stay up.
That smoke actually helps. It's a double smoke, so you kind of get a counter here. We're able to get a revive off in time. It should last long enough for Zyro to get back into the play. He will be weak, but the plates have to matter now. Dipping out of dodge. No repeak, and that is a beautiful retake on the roof. Double smoke actually works out in their favor.
Yes, it does. Those smokes, they're so valuable. They've been huge in Warzone really since the meta started. And I tell you what, smokes could very well be the most valuable tactical that you have in your inventory. Just for disengaging in a moment. We see a nice little pickup there, so good on them. The smoke saved the day and also nets them another elimination to come through. Louis CM down on the ground, zone behind him. You got to worry about those teams rotating in a bit late, but a UAV has been bought. Nobody behind as far as I can tell. Maybe one player, one dot that I see, but for the most part, it's time to settle down, get the loot, and then focus on your next attack.
I think that's a really important sentence you just uttered. Settle down is huge, especially when things get chaotic. When you're stuck in moments like this in Game 6, how important it is to just slow the pulse down of your trio.
Run outside towards
But it
me if you
seems
guys need, okay?
that Smixy and company have elected to stay here. They're not being flushed out. They already took a gunfight. They didn't win prior. They get back up, and they're trying again as one scouts through the air.
Landing in.
We saw that Simtex just a little bit earlier. That was Adrian dropping off, and then it said team eliminated. So I do believe Aid and Adrian rated finish in 18th place. Their run to go from below 10th up to 5th. I thought this game was going to be their game to maybe break into top 3, but not so lucky. They're finished off far earlier than they wanted. But we mentioned Smixy just a little bit earlier. They did lose a player, so now it's up to Flanked and Attract to try and make some magic happen. And already, I mean, this game has been so fast to me, at least because of the action on screen, that we're already down to the point where there's no more respawns, you know, unless you go for the revive or at least a buy station. So this was fast, and now we're about to start seeing teams drop off like flies.
Yeah, this game has gone by fast, but it feels like oftentimes when we jump to POVs, nobody wants to be overzealous and take a challenge they aren't ready for. They're so cautious of their placings and what the points mean, and now knowing that Aiden and Rated are down, they surely know that at least, regardless if they don't know the points, okay, somebody who won a game prior is out, so we have a chance to jump up and put some points on the board. This is where you'd want to get aggressive if you're able to. Dangerous Hop, gonna pay for it too. Gets burned on the chow, and Super Evans in the back gonna have to make the most out of it.
Man, Z-Collar's just been having a difficult time. The narrative from him at the very start of the broadcast was, man, he's staying alive, he's getting away, but it seems like it's hard for him to just to snap back. It's not because he's a poor player, but they just get pressured so hard. And I think teams know that, like, it's like, okay, I downed Z-Collars, we've got to take advantage of this. We've got to push forward, because if we don't, they're coming back with a vengeance. So they're playing their opponents very well. Oak is going to be on your screen and just trying to hold off this castle position. He knows teams are going to be rotating into him to a certain degree, and he's already picked off one. Can we see a second? And what is this? We got some GTA action. Huskerrs up top, and he's at least flying around for the time being.
A little smile from Huskerrs recognizes that, hey, I could ruin somebody's day right here if I get close enough. And that's the big question, is whether or not he can track it. Certainly trying to, but look, this is all information available to Huskerrs, right? Regardless if he finds Elim, doesn't matter. He's giving his teammates everything they need to position, get set up for late game, and make a push. This is a squad that, remember, took home first place in Game 2 with 21 Elims. If they stay consistent, they can absolutely break within the top 4, or at least stay there. Whether or not they're there now is up to the entire will of the leaderboard itself. But we have more kills falling. FIFA Kill finds at least one. The squad will get wiped. And then you can hear the comms ringing out like, they have the knock. We can reposition. Zone to our south. We're good.
Now the water fight. Oki kind of thrives in these positions. A good reposition, I would have to say anyways, but he doesn't want to break that barrier. He doesn't want to go up top just yet. This is where he wants to stay. He knows what's in front of him. He knows there's a guy in the water at least, but that guy doesn't have many options. As soon as he pops out, he's surely going to be dead because FIFA, Oki are going to be able to 1, 2, 3 fire. They do exactly that. That's going to be a down and a full finish. Good on them for doing so, but job's not done just yet. One more player, maybe a couple still remaining, and that guy's job is just to try and stay alive because at this point it's survive or die. You got 7 teams remaining. Multiplier increases the more spots you go up. He just wants some more multiplier points.
Everybody wants the multipliers when this thing start to dwindle on down, but great shots at range from FIFA Kill and company looking for the second. There will be another wipe as more will fall and more are added on. The tally continues 7 at least for FIFA Kill.
No.
7's a good number to have.
7 for OEK, but regardless, I mean, this team is putting on a clinic in this game 6, and they understand that the position they're in is a deadly one.
Here they go. Oh, did he see? I thought he saw a player next to the boat, but maybe that was just a shadow of the gas. I don't know, but he is definitely. Oh, it was. He sees the player just in his peripherals and then turns around to spot him. But that player gets away because of the smokes, and now they do find some coverage, which I thought for sure, Space, when they went up in elevation, I thought they were dead for sure, and that might still very well happen. Do you go for the revive? I honestly don't think you can afford to do so. You just got to push forward. It's every man for himself, and Oki makes the great play, at least the right play in my mind. He drops off in 5th place.
Yeah, the benefit of being in no man's land is that you're in no man's land, and then you're also in no man's land when things go wrong, because you're not expecting to get pushed from the back, but you're also lucky enough to third party if you're capable, so it works out for enough, but not to finish the entire game out. And Empathy will be the only one for this trio alive, doing all that he can just to find kills left and right. 11 eliminations for Empathy. What a game in Game 6.
What a game indeed. And I mean, come on, it wouldn't be Game 6 the final game without some tension, without these players going for it. But now we go back to the water space, right? Look at that zone. It's literally over top of the water. That means the players want to hug the land as much as possible. And 4th place is going to be there. And Juki's, my boy, is still alive. And this is his perspective. And that was the finish we just saw a little bit earlier. Juki's, though, takes some damage from behind. There's literally no coverage. It's every man for himself. It's chaos. Juki's falls. 3rd place. Best finish today. We're down to the last 2.
There was nowhere else to run. Everybody got caught in this power alley of just AR bullets. And Blastides was the one behind just waiting. And is it Blastides that closes it out? Is it Breadman that does? Absolutely. This trio stepped up in the end. Game 4 a victory, and Game 6 a victory as well. Blastides, the AR posted in the back as a sentry, gunning down trios left and right, will get them a second victory here today.
That is impressive. 2 victories. Game 4. Game 5. Now where are they on the leaderboard? How many elims did they get? Did you catch that, Space?
I didn't. I was so shocked that Blastides was alive. Like, I need to see the leaderboards, man.
Man, so, but what we do know, 4th place. 4th place before that, going from Game 5 to Game 6. Now with the victory, if it was a solid game, not enough to probably overtake Biffle, but I don't know. We've seen crazier things happen.